Okay, if everything has gone according to plan, we should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone and welcome back to Weekends with Avrona. I hope you had an amazing, wonderful, peaceful Christmas, and this is a very special show because not only is it the last show of the year, but also the last show before CES 2026. So, with my powers of basically being spammed with emails about everything that's going on at CES, I wanted to take this final show to go over what's happening at CES, what can you expect from the big brands, what are my plans for CES, and what kind of videos you can see coming up on the channel from the show, and just in general geeking out at the kind of cool stuff that will be present there in Las Vegas. Now, as you can probably guess, going to Las Vegas is very much not cheap. That is why if you want to help support our efforts in going to CES 2026, then you can just leave a super chat, you can become a Patreon, you can do whatever. You can even just use the Amazon and Newegg links down in the comments below for any kind of your purchases. Comments below, the description below. Granted, most of your purchases for like Christmas you've probably already made, but I don't know, if you forgot to buy someone a gift and you need something a few days later, and totally go for it. And also very happy to take this to also announce who our sponsors will be for the show. So we're going to have actually two sponsors this year who's going to be our trusted partners, and that's going to be Pro Gamers Group, more specifically Haven, the case guys. We recently covered a brand new case and we've absolutely loved it, so that's going to be awesome, as well as AlphaCool. So those are the guys that are helping me yet again go to Vegas in 2026, because CES 2025 was awesome, it was amazing, and CES 2026 is going to be even bigger. So I wanted to just take this time to go over what you can expect to see at the show, both from, pretty much all of the media outlets, but also, specifically what my plans are. So I think we need to start off with the big three and talk about what their plans are. Starting off with Nvidia. Now, Nvidia were kind of interesting because their announcement, well, okay, they had plans for showcases at CES for a while, but the actual keynote itself was only announced like a couple of, maybe like a week ago, I want to say. So that was a bit weird. I was starting to think that maybe that they aren't even going to be there, but, well obviously they're going to be there, but like there wouldn't be a proper keynote. But no, there is a keynote with Jensen Huang. This one's happening at the Fontainebleau, which I've never been there, so it's going to be interesting. Last year it was at the Mandalay Bay. There was like the arena inside that, and it was like huge. It was like a rock concert, but it was for this guy brandishing a giant, shield made that was supposed to look like a wafer. That was a weird show. So, in terms of what we can expect from Nvidia, obviously there'll be a very, very big push towards the robotics and the AI and the automation and all the kind of stuff you come to expect. But what about the things, you and I are interested in? What about the actual gaming side of things, the GeForce side of things, unless they've completely forgotten about it? The most obvious candidate is obviously going to be the GeForce, the RTX 50 Super line, because it's already like what, a year since the announcement of the 50 series, because they were announced last year at CES. It's coming up on that time. It's either going to be now or it's going to be at Computex. Now, the thing that Nvidia have working for them is that they don't really have to rush things. AMD are in a rush to release brand new cards as of right now, and the same case is with Intel, but that can change at CES. So it is the most obvious thing. We're probably getting some brand new mobile GPUs as well. I think mobile graphics cards could be a big thing, especially from what I saw in terms of how many new laptops other companies will be showcasing at CES. So I think that's going to be a much larger priority. So in terms of when that's happening, again, they're going to have a whole showcase available. However, the actual keynote is going to be on the 5th, and then you can just visit all the way up to the 8th. I think it's pretty much just saying, apart from just the keynotes, you can just go to the showcase and see what they have there. And there will be like some giveaways and whatnot. But yeah, so basically the main thing will be on the 5th, and that is again when the video will go up from the keynote, reacting to the keynote. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about the fact that I started going to these shows like CES and Computex is that before I started going, a big tradition was just doing live streams, reacting live to what is being announced, and they were fun, especially the ones for Computex, because those events were usually at around like 2 a.m. 3 a.m. local time because of the time difference in Taipei. And so the issue with going to these events is that you miss out on that content. And I think those streams are really, really cool. They're always a lot of fun. And there's still other events that I do those kind of live streams for, like Galaxy Unpacks and a similar kind of events that I don't attend. But still, the way I usually did it is that I had the main live stream covering, reacting, initial thoughts about what's being said, and then like a video a day or two later discussing in more detail in a more condensed 2, 3, 4 minute version of what exactly was announced. So that is something I've been kind of missing, and I gotta say, I've had the kind of idea, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it or not, of just streaming it anyway, but just from the audience, just via my phone, and just kind of propping it up and just like streaming from the audience. Like, would that be something you guys be interested in? There's obviously so many issues with that. Like, one, the internet has to be good, and when you have like thousands of people all with their phones and tablets and laptops out, taking notes or taking videos, it could be a bit difficult. Obviously, battery life wise, it's gonna be a bit difficult, and also just the fact that I don't know if you'd be able to even hear me properly. I could obviously mic myself up, but like, still, would you even be able to hear any of my initial reactions? And would I even be able to come up with stuff on the spot like that in the crowd? And also there's like kind of that social anxiety part of me thinking I'd be too annoying to people sat next to me, that I was just like constantly talking to the audience while that's going on. So maybe another way of doing it is just that I keep quiet and I just let the camera roll, and you just see what Jensen was saying, and maybe I could like then the audio from Jensen will be awful. I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting. It's that one thing I miss. One thing that's kind of worse about being at these events in person is that you're very limited in the coverage you can do live. No, granted, I still did coverage live. I still kind of tweeted stuff live, and I posted very quick videos on Twitter, and I think even on like Reddit of the initial clips as they happened. So that's probably the best you're gonna get. Again, it's one of those things I kind of miss, but that is what it's going to look like for NVIDIA. Let me know your expectations for them down in the live chat, because I'm really not sure what it is going to be like, because it's so difficult to predict what it's going to be like when it comes to actual GeForce announcements. Last year they gave the most at Computex, they gave the most token appearance ever, right? They just showed up I believe it was like a GeForce 5060 or something laptop, like something like, yeah, GeForce, that's a thing. And then Jensen's went like, oh, NVIDIA, we have many kids, we don't pick favorites. Anyway, here's AI. And that was all we heard about just any GeForce announcements. So I'm curious, do you think we're going to have somehow even more, or like somehow even less at CES now, or like what's going to happen? Let me know, because I'm actually curious. So let's move on to the next, which is going to be, of course, AMD. So with AMD, my hopes are slightly higher, mostly because they have more to lose. Now, obviously, they have been doing insane when it comes to the CPU side of things. GPU side of things, there's still a lot to be decided, and there's still a lot that could be happening. So they will be at the Palazzo. This time it's in the Venetian. So last time, pretty much all of the media events before the actual show itself opened were happening at Mandalay Bay. Now they've changed it, it appears. So everything is just going to be all over the place. And one of the things, like the worst thing about covering CES is just the distances between places, because the Las Vegas Convention Center is already pretty big. It's huge, but it's still way too small to house everything going on in the CES week and like all of the media days before CES. So everything is spread out across the hotels, across the Venetian Convention Center, like everywhere, across the whole of the strip, basically. So you have to like spend a whole day and pack rations just to go from one hotel to another and go from one event to another. It's the distances there are truly insane. And so it's going to be, again, it's like 20,000 plus steps a day trying to go from one to another. Anyway, so for AMD, they are also happening on the 5th. So that's going to be pretty interesting, comparing what AMD is going to be like versus what NVIDIA is going to be like. And also they're going to have their separate rooms where they're going to be kind of showcasing what they're going to have. So it's this right here, AMD Connect. You can just basically go there and have a look around. I'm very interested in, you know, what's going to be there. That's going to be of any interest. Again, it all depends on what they actually announce. In terms of what it could be, again, my hopes are slightly higher for AMD because, wow, it feels like they give. Obviously, we have CPUs to look forward to. There's a 19950 X3D2. That's going to be probably a highlight for them CPU-wise. Maybe some new Threadripper Epic stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some new Threadripper Epic stuff. And also GPU-wise. Probably maybe not any kind of refreshers. So like, what did they call the refreshers last time? I can't remember because they had like the regulars and XTs. And they had like refreshers, kind of like NVIDIA Super, but I actually can't remember what they called them now. Huh. Anyway, so maybe some GPU refreshers as well to kind of fill in some gaps. Maybe something more high-end. Obviously, it's not going to be RDNA, what is on RDNA 5, because we recently saw that that is scheduled for mid-2027. So we're still going to wait quite a bit for the next generation. So that also kind of puts in perspective, you know, are we going to be seeing a lot? Or are they going to be spacing it out a lot more? Given how RDNA 4 is supposed to last us for a few more years. It's going to be interesting. So you're going to be seeing both videos on the same day. Again, a lot of it also depends on if there's going to be enough content. Like if NVIDIA's is literally just AI and just robotics, just all of the data center stuff, then I probably won't even have a video. Okay, I'll probably just have like a short, and it's just NVIDIA's keynote just happened, and there was nothing from GeForce about it, so better luck next year. And that's it. That's my whole video for Intel. That'd be fun. I hope it doesn't happen like that. I hope they actually announce something, but just in case, it's good to have plans. Anyway, next up, we have a very interesting one. A very interesting one, and that is Intel, the kind of sick man of the industry right now. Obviously, they have gone through a lot of changes, a brand new CEO, tons of investment from, you know, players from all over the world and also the US government. So it's going to be interesting on that angle. It's also going to be interesting because I don't believe it's going to be like attendable. Is that even a word? I actually don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like a show you can attend. That's what I'm saying. Because there's like nothing in terms of signups. Or maybe it's just one of those things where you kind of have to like already know a guy to get on the inside or whatever. Because there's like nothing to sign up. And everywhere I've seen, they've just referred to it as a live stream. The main keynote, they haven't referred to an event, a presentation, a keynote. It's always just specifically the word a live stream. Thankfully, unlike with the others, you don't have to just guess and hope that something nice will come up, because here they've kind of laid out some of the things that we can expect when it comes to that. So a big focus will be, as you can probably tell by this header right here, is going to be Panther Lake. So those are the big next generation of mobile CPUs for Intel. Maybe, because we're seeing brand new, if the issue is that like the top left corner is blocked by my camera, but we'll be seeing new Core Ultra 3 series, so that's probably going to be desktop side refresh, but we probably won't be seeing anything from Nova Lake. I think Nova Lake will most likely come to us in at Computex, so that's going to be in June. So for now, it's really just going to be a focus on laptops and mobile chips, I believe, for Intel. You don't expect anything when it comes to the partnership with NVIDIA and Intel. I think that's going to be still like years away at this point. It's still going a while before we see any products actually come out of that. It's still very interesting. It's still something that we could keep an eye out on. But yeah, it's going to be weird because on the one hand, it's hard to be as excited because you can't go there in person. But also, I like the fact that Intel is being very clear that there is going to be consumer stuff. That's not just data centers, not just AI. It is going to be about, as it says right here, Intel-powered PCs, talking about gaming products, talking about the Ultra Series 3, talking about Panther Lake. I like how that is all laid out. So, on the other hand, it's also very difficult to be excited about some stuff like the refresh because it's just going to be the most boring thing ever because we've already seen the leaks that, oh, it was supposed to have like extra cores, but no, it's not going to have extra cores. They were supposed to have like a better MPU for the 2 or 3 people who care about that, but no, it doesn't even going to have a better MPU. So now Arrow Lake is just, our like refresh is just like nothing, and everyone's just looking forward to Nova Lake instead. So it's difficult to be excited, but something to keep them relevant and something to give poor Intel users who bought into the brand new socket at least one more generation of CPUs. It's gonna be an extremely boring generation, but 2 generations is better than 1, or more realistically 1.5 generations, because again it's just a low effort refresh. Maybe there's no surprises. Maybe there will be something extremely interesting that hasn't been leaked yet about Arrow Lake refresh, or the 300 series CPUs. That is going to change our opinion, but we just have to wait and see. If you're constantly wondering why I'm kind of like looking up there, if you're new here, that's because that's where I have my chat. So I'm just kind of looking at the stream, making sure that the stream is actually running and everything. So yeah, that is the story of oh, yeah, sorry, I just triggered the outro by accident. Oh, well. So, Lenovo is actually going to be at the Las Vegas Sphere. So, last time, it was Delta Airlines who was there. And obviously, I can only get so excited about Delta Airlines of all people. And most people probably just attended because they wanted to go to the Sphere for free. That's pretty much why I attended there. But this year, it's going to be Lenovo at the Sphere. It was still like an amazing conference, don't get me wrong. It was just, you can only get so excited about any kind of announcements made by Delta, of all people. An airline I've literally never flown. And so this time around, it's going to be Lenovo. And just this timer up here is already giving me anxiety. 10 days. Just 10 days until we'll be there. That's kind of terrifying. And we're leaving in a couple of days. Our flight to Vegas is on the 1st. At like 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. So yay, that's going to be fun. Anyway, so Lenovo is at the Sphere this year. It's going to be obviously visually extremely cool. They're going to have a lot of big names, a lot of really interesting names. I mean, Jensen's going to be there, Lip Bhutan's going to be there, Lisa Su's going to be there. So really cool, exciting people, and then some less exciting and interesting people, like the president of FIFA, who was very controversial for many, many reasons. If you're wondering why, out of all people, Infantino's there, that's because Lenovo is a sponsor for the World Cup 2026. So you can also expect a lot about that happening at the show. And then there's something also that's kind of interesting. So last year at the Delta Airlines show, it ended with a concert of Lenny Kravitz. And that was absolutely amazing. One of the best concerts I've ever been at. Like, just musically, but also visually, and the whole way that the Sphere was incorporated into it was amazing. It was just an awesome show. And apparently, because it's tradition to end keynotes with special guest performances at a Sphere now, Lenovo are doing the same thing this year, and they're bringing Gwen Stefani as the main star to finish off the show. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least. So like, I'm not like the biggest fan in the world, but I'm a big fan of No Doubt, and her music is pretty decent. Her her style of singing is really, really cool. So it's still going to be a really awesome. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to, as much as say Lenny Kravitz, but still I think it's going to be a really phenomenal concert, both because of her just being a great singer, but also because it's the Sphere. Come on, who wouldn't want to attend a concert in the Sphere? And then the rest is just basically copy, talking about how awesome they are, how they're sponsoring like the World Cup and Formula One and everything like that. So that is going to be a very, very interesting show. It is happening on the 6th, and depending on what they're going to show up, it may or may not have a video. I'll be obviously doing a lot of shorts, maybe like a proper video of the whole experience as well, just to kind of show you what it's like to be inside the Sphere, kind of show you what the whole process looks like, some bits and pieces and clips. Whether or not I'm going to have a full video after the fact really depends on what they're going to show off, whether there's going to be any opportunities to be hands-on with any of the products they show off. Maybe they won't even be products, maybe it's all just going to be inviting one guest after another and talking about how great they are, you know? It's basically how AMD run all of their press conferences, and why it's so difficult to be excited for AMDs, because the way that an AMD press conference works, and I feel like it's going to be the same thing here with Lenovo, is that they have a guest come up, and the guest, like I don't know, say someone from ASUS, and the guy goes, at ASUS we love working with AMD because they allow us to make the best device and whatnot, and it's just that. And then they bring someone else up from like Lenovo, and then they go, Lenovo loves working with AMD because they allow our devices to be the best they can, and yada yada yada. And then someone from like some other third company comes up, and it's just the same thing. And honestly, given how many guests are here, I think it's going to be the very same thing. You're going to have Jensen come up saying, we love working with Lenovo because they are great at this, this, and this. And Liputan's going to come and go, we love working with Lenovo and Intel because they allow us to do this, this, and this. And it's going to be the exact same reasons. And just over and over again for all of these people. And then finally, we're going to just be alleviated from the boredom by just a Gwen Stefani concert to snap everyone out of the trance they put them into. That's kind of my worry. But again, hopefully they can make it interesting just by the fact it's going to be taking place in the Sphere. So yeah, another really cool event. Looking forward to that, and you should be looking forward to my coverage of that, because it is, I'll be trying to show you guys as much as possible what it's actually like on the inside, what an event like this looks on the inside, what it's actually like to be there. So that is going to be pretty cool. One more I wanted to kind of talk about. It's very difficult to even say anything about it because of how little we know, and it is Samsung. So Samsung are going to have a press conference happening on the 4th, so it's going to be one of the earliest pieces of content from the show. It's going to be happening at the Wynn Las Vegas, which is going to be pretty cool because I haven't been inside the Wynn yet, so that's always something new. And in terms of what we're actually going to be seeing, well, given how we didn't have anything new in terms of, you know, consumer devices that aren't just kitchen appliances, because at IFA we didn't really see much apart from just like kind of fridges or like vacuum cleaners and whatnot. So here there is a bit of an opportunity to have something a bit more interesting. So they're talking about how they're going to have something called the vision for the DX, or device experience division. Obviously there is the matter of the S26 series. There is the matter of the trifold. However, I do very much believe that it is going to have its own Galaxy Impact sometime later in January. And it's something I'm very much looking forward to because my phone's contract is running out and I will be most likely upgrading to S26 Ultra. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like, but odds are we're not going to be seeing it at CES. So that kind of leaves a good question of, what are we seeing at CES? Well, I don't know, because like this one paragraph here is all that they've given us about what we can be seeing. The good thing is that they're going to have the press conference and then they're going to have the halls. They're going to have an expo. So after the fact, I should be able to just go there and, you know, kind of hands-on show you exactly what will be there. Hopefully we'll be seeing a couple of extra clarifications on the things we saw at IFA. Like the brand new display technologies that were there were pretty awesome. They also showcased the 3D gaming monitors. Yeah, 3D game monitors apparently coming back because we had both Acer and Samsung showing that off at IFA, where basically you can just play games in 3D but without glasses, because it uses cameras to basically track your eyeballs and adjust how the two images kind of intertwine at just the right angle to give you the illusion of 3D without the glasses. So I can't believe it. That is something that's actually coming back. It's so weird because that whole thing suffered such a untimely demise. The 3D TV never took off, and even like I believe even games as recent as Shadow of the Tomb Raider had support for stroboscopic 3D in the options menu. But by that point, that technology was kind of dead and buried, and all of a sudden, it is coming back. So it's gonna be interesting. And again, if I'm gonna have a video from the press conference, that depends on what's actually gonna be there. If it's gonna be anything exciting. Again, there's probably gonna be a short or two, but most of the coverage from Samsung will come from the show floor itself, and that's gonna be, I believe, the same day as, not the same day, but like the day after, so on the 5th of January, we'll be going to the show floor, seeing what's going to be there. So I kind of want to end on going over my schedule. Obviously, I won't be showing you this, but just kind of what I have planned. I honestly just get tired by looking at my schedule for the event because it's so packed. It's so packed. I'm just... It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot, but I'm really excited. So the very first thing that's gonna be happening is going to be Acer. So the very first meeting on the 4th of January, that's gonna be Acer, and then Razer, which is nice because they rhyme. So those will be the two main pieces of content coming out on the very first day on the 4th, followed by, of course, also Samsung as well. Then we're also going to have an event over at the Euros. Then there's going to be the Nvidia keynote. Then we'll be going back to Samsung for the show floor, and then it's going to be the Intel event, which again probably it's just going to be a live stream, and I'm just going to be watching it and then just make a video about it after the fact. Then we have an event with Lexar, which is going to be awesome because we never had any kind of contact with Lexar. We never really covered anything from Lexar, so that's going to be pretty cool. Then there's the AMD keynote. Then we're going to have one with iBuyPower/Height. Then going back for more stuff with Gigabyte. Then going back for more stuff with Razer, then Cooler Master, then the Lenovo event at the Sphere, so we're now on the 6th of January. We have Be Quiet, we have Endorphy, and we have AlphaCool, which again is one of the sponsors for the event. And then we also have Infineon, we're gonna have Pimax again. We visited Pimax last year. They were like the VR guys, but I didn't do a video, which I'm kind of like mad about. Like, I don't know why I didn't do a video. It was really, really cool. So obviously I'm gonna make a video from there. Odyssey, which like that's gonna be cool because I've absolutely love the headphones that I've recently covered, LCD S20s. Really, really cool. Really excited to see what else they're gonna have. And I think Status Audio is also gonna be there at the kind of same suite basically as Odyssey. So if Status Audio, they made my are they somewhere here? I don't know. So my Daily Driver earbuds now, absolutely awesome. Check out that video. The Pro X's, really, really great earbuds. So that is going to be, I believe, the same event. Then we're also going to be talking with VESA, the people behind, the VESA standard, but also DisplayPort and a bunch of other standards. We're going to have like interviews with people there and just generally talking about DisplayPort and gaming tech, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that is currently the last thing I have in my calendar on the 9th. But I'm still adding stuff to the calendar pretty much daily. There's a lot. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be an exciting show, and I honestly can't wait for you guys to see what I have planned. So, hopefully, you're gonna like all our coverage. Hopefully, it's gonna be even better show than CES 2025, and here's hoping you're going to have a wonderful start of the year as well. So that's pretty much it for the last weekend's Avrona of 2025. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like whatever, and see you all in the live. Goodbye. Bye.